So right now we small, but I forget what model they just
You have consultants come in and set up the
that's just where we're spending.
What a rock star you were. I lied.
I think I'm going to get started. Go for it. All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming. This is the last session. I'm not going to keep you the whole time. I did a talk. I walk around the room. It seems we have a lot of IT director in the room, so I like to make it into a panel rather than a discussion, especially with the people, creative people like Tom and all the old faces in there. So basically, I'm talking about what I'm doing at my school and to see what others are doing. I understand probably most of us are in the same boat. We don't have any budget except probably Ryan. You're building a new IT and get all the money. We don't. We don't have the money, and so we have to be very creative. The lucky thing, the great thing is, first, we're in a situation because the law school probably, instead of firing people, they freeze the budget. So that's a great thing, right? In my situation, I'm from University of St. Thomas Law School in Minneapolis. And I actually lost one web developer, programmer, and so basically it's me and we call it ACT. It's a tech support, but has liaison with the main university. So if you talk about purple squirrel, you're looking at one now. So my background, I have a law degree and I have a master's in computer science, but didn't quite finish it. I think my law degree is much useful than the computer science degree, so I didn't pursue my computer science and get my law degree. And then I used to manage the library systems, the innovative library systems, and that's the system you can just customize whatever you want. And then my old boss wanted me to get this new job and like what I do. Recruited me, so I'm the director of technology. And the University of St. Thomas is a law school. It's not an independent school. It's affiliated with the university. That means when I say, so I have to do some qualifications. When I say no budget means I don't have any budget, but the hardware, the server, everything actually is controlled by the center. So the central university, we can depend on them. For instance, every 3 years we have the hardware recycle program, so that we can depend on. So when I say no budget, which means if the things we want to do, we couldn't. We don't have the money. We have to be creative. So, but I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing that it forces you to be creative, to look inside. For instance, we have in place. We have 2 classrooms decked out with the ACO 360 recording systems. That's it. No other room has it. So that forced us to talk with the register or with the associate dean, in a sense that if we know there are classes who needs recording, we schedule that classes into that room as much as we can. So just saved all the trouble. So that way, really make you look into what you have and what you can do with what you have. So with that, I'm going to just go on to see what we have to accommodate the request. They're just many of you are the IT director. You know that the demands are just coming every day. So what do you do? This looks ugly, but I tell you, it's very, very useful nowadays. Not all our classrooms have technology, so I don't know if that's true with you or not. We have at least 5 classrooms, the little ones, or even the Board of Governors room, where the governors meet. We don't have any technology in the room. So, as a way of cope with the constant needs for PowerPoint, for web, or any other things, we think about coming up with a mobile. With one mobile tech unit, it covers it. You would be amazed how many demands we can just satisfy with that. Demands like we want a PowerPoint presentation, so we can just roll that into that room. And this one has all the PowerPoint also has HD monitor, and this is a 70-inch one. And we got this because we're on a very good relationship with the central IT, with the guy who's in charge of this, and he has some budget at the end of the year, and we just happen to know it. So, well, can you do something for us? So, number one thing, if you're in a centralized system, be very good with the center. Like if you have somebody like Tom moved from the university law school to the university, that would be a great channel right there. He knows what we want, right? And it's very important to know the people, to be on a good. We happen to know this, so he decked it out for us. This one, I tell you how many use we can do it with. I mentioned the PowerPoint, and nowadays the video conference, right? This one can just accommodate any kinds of video conferences you can use. We have an HD camera, and that camera can set to follow you. So you can set follow you, or you can have group meetings. We have the admission committees recruiting the international students. That meeting can take place right there on the big TV. And the display is much better actually than the classroom display. And then you can accommodate the group meeting. Student group meetings, student organization meetings, all kinds of them. So you basically can make the last minute demands for audio-visual or technology needs. We can just roll in there. It's very simple to use, operate. So that's the mobile unit that we use. The other things, we also have demands from different departments. They want easy scheduling, online scheduling programs. And the university don't have one, we don't buy one, so we of course want to look for something free. This one is called doodle.com. So what this does is that if you are in charge of scheduling, for instance, if you are in charge of scheduling 70 students, different timelines, how do you schedule that? Email, people tell you the email slots, that's just not possible. And with this one, you can send email to all the 70 students. They can each sign up a slot, and it's anonymous. You can make it anonymous so nobody knows. They just see that the slots is taken up, and then you can just schedule that easy with 70 students. We use the free one, and surprisingly, this one exam we can make a lot of people happy with the scheduling. I at least have 2 departments wanting to want a scheduling software. We just don't have it, but this is online one, so we found it, which is very good. But for professors who want to have some scheduling thing, well, as I said, we don't have one, but we could look at what we can do. So in Blackboard, I don't know how we use Blackboard. In Blackboard, you could create a sign-up sheet in Blackboard using the wiki, and then students can go in and sign up. So we just improvise. Oh, I thought I have that one. I don't. So in Blackboard, you can create a sign-up sheet. So we just create how do we do that. Now in law schools, you go to Cali, you hear all these. I can guarantee every sessions that's about video recording is crowded. Like this year too, the one given by Chris, that was just wonderful. You know, create your local recording program. That's everybody. I know Tom gave one about 4 years ago, and created your local solutions. And I think that's the recording stuff is what everybody is now. The students want it, faculty want it, but most of us don't have the money or the staff to satisfy it. What we did at our law school is that we just use what you have. See, for instance, we have a clinic program who wanted to record the videos, and then after that they want to criticize the videos, right? Just one-on-one instead of online or something. We said, well, why don't we use the Mac? So this is what our setup is right there. Students have, over 50% of students now have Mac. So why don't we just say use Mac and put it up there, the photo booth. Just provide something there, whoever is there, just record it. In a closed environment like this, the audio and visual is very good. It beats the VHS anyway. We used to have the VHS recording. And this beats you can do a SD card and put it in it. And then after that, you can take the SD card and take that SD card to a different room and just plug it into any computer. You can watch the videos and criticize it. And that's what we do. Now, right after we came up with this solution, all of a sudden there's so many, the multiple competitions wanted, and there's, any kinds of testing stuff they wanted, and we just say go use this method. And the student didn't know that. Once you mention it, now. So think about this. This will solve so many problems. Just ad hoc requests to say, well, we want to record this, we want to record that, and so this is what we did to give them to record the videos. If they want to put these videos online, the Central University do have a home-built, free open resource one, so we can upload that video and upload into the center. But most of them, they just want to record it and see it. So this we find is such a convenient solution to the request for video recording. Now, if you really want HD version of it, and what we did was, where's the HD? What we did, for instance, if there's some videos they really want for the HD version of it, well, we get a camera like that. It's a 340 camera, and then you couple it with the wireless audio. It's the Technica. So it's just like this. It feeds into the video. The quality beats. Well, if you use the Echo 360, the video quality beats it. And then with the audio, you can feed in. The audio is about here. This is about $100. So you look at $500, and that's a mobile. You can just move anywhere. You don't have to build any systems. Just put it in their students. When they're ready, just show them how to do it. You're out of there. So we go the route of mobile route. We're not creating anything. We just make it easy for you to take in. And that one has great audio, has great video. And so problem solved. That's the audio recording. There was a site. So we basically are just using what we have to try to, because we don't have any money to buy. At the maximum, we would have a few $100 to buy stuff. And what we did is, I just asked to buy some SD cards, the jump drives, so make it easy if any students want to borrow out. And we just show them how to use what they have, computer recording facilities, the Mac, and to do the recordings. For the classroom recordings, we do have a system built into the classrooms, but they're old. record it to CDs or DVDs, and I personally don't like it. So basically, I'm looking now. I just actually bought one. It's $130 from the rack mounted. You can record the audios into SD card. So we could do that. I'm basically looking for very cheap solutions to the problems, the needs that we want. And so those are the audio-visual are big ones. Once you get that taken care of, they're not. But then they in their work, for instance, there's lots of website. For instance, the website we use is the T4. It's I don't know if anybody uses it. It's very proprietary. It's a content management system. It's very close in. For instance, this year I'm part of the teaching team for the legal research, and for this year we try to do the flipped classroom teaching concept. Okay, we created all these videos, but we don't have anywhere to put online. The T4 does not allow you to upload the videos, or we could make it into a package and zipped it into the Blackboard. But we just discovered that the school offers some kind of for teaching faculties, there's a web presence. It's called Course Web instead of in the reporting in the system itself. So what we did was we just created a very basic website, because there are 4 of us teaching 8 sessions. Instead of each of us doing the work, we basically just created one site and asked the students to go to check it out. So those are all the solutions that we're just basically using what we want. And there are some things, for instance, and also there's a demand right now for the encryption. We at our school, we only encrypt key personnel's computers, those directors. We encrypt their computers. For the rest of us, when they want to do some encryption, they come to me, then I'll talk to them to say, well, what do you want? Do you want to encrypt the whole drive or just the folders? If they want to just to say, oh, I want to place on my computer to make that certain part of the computer safe. So normally I would point them, if they're on the Windows, I would normally point them to use the BitLocker. And before that, I would ask them to download the TrueEncrypt. TrueEncrypt right now, they stopped developing. But so this is something with the free stuff too. So it's always changing. You can never depend on. But with the TrueEncrypt, what I was able to do is to show them how to download it, how to create a kind of a secured folder on that laptop, so they can put everything in there. On the Mac, you could just use the built-in. Under the utilities, you could create a secure image in their secure folder, and you can choose the encryptions of 128 or 256 encryptions and do that. So there's a lot of solutions that you can do. Right now, since we're in the mobile mode, we're thinking the next step. This is the end of the year too, so we might be able to get a big monitor display using the AirPlay to do something with the new technology, which I haven't figured out how to do, but it looks like we have a possibility. In terms of the money that we have, we don't have anything to buy, so we can use that. Let's see. Oh, I leave this blank because I'm sure there's a lot of IT directors in the group, and we could just leave it open for you to talk, or we can just sit here and wait for the raffle.
Yes, I wanted to ask you, the idea of saving money in one place just for equipment, not taking account the money you spend with the staffing. I wonder how much savings you actually do, because if you have a portable camera, whatever, microphone, you have to manage that. And you have to pick it up, and you have to deal with damaged equipment once you give it to a user, and you have to maintain it. And the time and personnel resources that you're using, you're really spending the money that you would cost to have a fixed technology and so forth. So that would be fine.
Well, first of all, as I said, we don't have the personnel to develop the system to win a camera. I would like to go that route if we have the people to do that. We don't. And the way for all this technology, what we did was we worked with the library. We put behind the library, and we announced to the students, you can check this out, and when you're ready to use it. And,
Damages.
Well,
You have to replace the parts.
right, damages, well, so far we haven't had any, so that's good. But yeah, that certainly is but on the other hand, the equipment is now so easy, right? You can just include the big instruction sheet and just follow them. So so that's the part. Damage is certainly a part of it, but it hasn't been a problem. Let's put it that way.
As far as encryption, you mentioned local encryption.
Right.
Have you ever dealt with people who forgot their password and you can't do anything? If it's not centralized, you can't restore it.
I know.
Right.
You forget your password, you're cooked. That's it. I mean, you can't get in.
Sure.
You forget your password.
So just real life story about file vault in the Mac and the encryption. I had it turned on because our university has required all of us to encrypt our drives. And so I got my new computer, I said, fine, I'll do it. I'm a pretty heavy user and I have my logic board replaced every year, if not every other year. I don't know why I have such bad luck, but I do. And one morning, 7:30 in the morning, January 10th, I was working and my Mac completely froze. I got up, I made coffee, came back, still couldn't do anything, so all I could do was hit that power button. Worst mistake I could have ever made. It took 4 days, over 120 hours, and I was able to retrieve the data, working with different geniuses at our local Mac store, but still to this day, I don't have file permissions on my files. I have to type my password in every single time I want to touch a file. Dreamweaver is a nightmare.
Yeah, it's cooked. But I do have I recommend our faculties to use a password system called KeyPass. Does anybody use that program? It's called KeyPass. It's wonderful, right? What you can do with that program is KEEPASS, KeyPass. What you can do with that is that you could put the real file on a central location, so you're not going to lose that file, and then you can install the program, point to that file, so that you can install anything that point to that file. This is one. The other thing, you can put it on a jump drive. Put it on a jump drive, and just everything contained in that jump drive, you have it. But that, again, you have to remember one password, a master password.
Oh, but mine wasn't even remembering a password. I even had the key. It just wouldn't boot to a point where you could put it in. So it literally locked me out, and there was no getting past it. So it wasn't about not knowing my password. It was about the hardware failing on me and no one being able to get to a spot to be able to unlock it. So though we were able to get the data off, we were never able to restore the permissions on my file.
So the argument would be the amount of resources you would allocate to understand for the process to restore it.
So I think key people is important.
Versus
They just put a
saving.
broad brush.
Yeah, we don't do it on everybody. We just do it on the key people. Anybody have any comments on the encryption? Anybody doing anything? No. All right. I'll leave it open. One of the, you're going to say something? No? Anybody want to raise anything? That's all I have to say.
But you work with the budget office
Budget.
to check the actual cost benefit to go at a cheap route versus spending the same amount of money, in my opinion, in that system. That would require less personnel to maintain it. So have you done any evaluation on that to see if you really, in fact, save money by going this route? Like those $400 camera and the microphone, if you have to buy two, it's like, you know. So,
Yeah, well, by two, compare it with you hiring a person, rather than using your existing staff.
Or having a system that would not need it. So
Right.
in some cases, there's no need.
We can't, first of all, we can't buy the system. The ACO 360 system that we have costs a lot of money. Yeah, costs in the tens of thousands of money. So we definitely cannot afford that system. Any system requiring your local programming, I can program in Pro and the jQuery, but I have other stuff to do. I'm not just programming. I do a lot of other things. But then also the hardware part, the maintenance part. So I want to do it myself if I can, but it just at this point can't. So in terms of the budget, there's a detailed budget, but I don't think there's analysis to say which really costs more. If you really think about, so one of the argument you hear over and over again is that if you build locally, can you maintain it in the long term, or buy it? As an IT director, of course you can buy. Of course you want to buy because then the vendor is there. But it's really, do you have the money to do that? If you have the money to do that, that's the best way to do it today. Just let the vendors take care of it. You just come up with the money to do it. But when you have to want to keep what you have and then satisfy the needs, that's the cheapest way to do it. Yes?
How many students do you folks have?
We have about, say, one year, we have about 130 students, so 3 years together, it's about 400 students. So the faculty is about 29 faculties, staff about a little bit bigger than that.
Do you have a laptop requirement for the students?
Yeah, we do.
Do you support those directly, or?
Laptop is, we support them. We support them, but we also have a central system that provides the support, but we provide the frontline support. And any problems, they can come to us. That's what the tech support people do. Then my door is open so they can come and ask any problems they encounter.
50 evening program? Day and evening?
No, just day program. Yeah.
So are you leveraging any of the things maybe some of the other departments actually have? Like I know that we work a lot with our IT, they needed a scheduling system, so we had iCalendar. So now they actually have their own calendar so that people will order, say they need a MacBook or whatever it is. So they basically schedule it out that way, or using, like we had already purchased Camtasia, so now we're using Camtasia on iPads in interview rooms for the clinicians. Have you guys looked at some of those or found that there are some interesting things that maybe some of the other departments pay for that you could use for some of your needs?
We don't. When you talk about the clinics, for instance, for clinics, the clinic need a way to, if they go out to interview clients, they need a way to scan the documents to see. So we would recommend, I have lots of the pro scanning programs on the iPad. And at our university, we do have a iPad program, which means the faculty can buy their own iPad using their what we call faculty development money. And because the iPad upgrades, now if they buy iPad 4, now that their old iPad 2, they have to return it. Then we just reuse those iPads for the clinics. In terms of each department don't have their budget to buy anything, so that the things they want to buy, they have to either go through me, law school, to see if we buy, or we use the central system. You talk about Camtasia, those ones we would piggyback on the central system to say, well, do you have a presenter, for instance, PowerPoint presenter? Anybody use the PowerPoint presenter? The way that we are doing now in our law school, I'm trying to move them onto the online teaching. And one of the online teaching considerations is the faculties don't want to spend too much time learning new technology. The technology you push out to the faculties, it got to be easy, something that they can use. And what I discovered is the Adobe Presenter is actually kind of like, just work with the PowerPoint. that's the best tool for faculties who don't want to spend time, but also want to create narrated PowerPoint into the program. So basically, it's so easy for them. You can sit down with anybody for 10 to 15 minutes. You can show them how to create a narrated PowerPoint. And once they have that, they can upload it into their Blackboard. Now they have the asynchronous kind of part of it. And then all the other part is, you teach them how to do the blogs, the wikis, and grades and online assignment. And all of a sudden now you have kind of like online teaching platform. So.
Do you have tech fee for your students?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. We have $191 for tech for the fees, technology fees. So.
If something breaks, like you mentioned, what's the downtime? What's the total downtime? Like that, let's say a class needs the mobile unit and for some reason it's not working because of hardware problem. It needs to come, we need to reorder. It needs to come the next day. It'll take like 3 or 4 days. What's the total left?
Well, at this point, it hasn't come down yet, but we do check them. In terms of classroom technology, we do check them. The one thing I don't know, many of you IT department probably one of the things that seems so simple is the battery in a speaker or PowerPoint. That's so simple, right? But that's the thing that gets the faculty so frustrated. So we have a system to get to check every 2 weeks, which is not often enough, but we have to check to make sure. The downtime thing for the TV, right now we only have one. It broke. So there's no redundancy in that part. So I mean I guess that's the part you're operating on the budget. That's the kind of thing. It broke. You can't do it. But then we have to think about something else to deal with. We don't have 2 TV monitors on that. It's like, and also like the ACO 360 system we have. We wouldn't have any money to buy new things. So we are on that system. If it broke, I don't know, we have to think about something else. Maybe we'll use the video to do something else. So that's what's going on. Yes?
So you're saying your tech fee, is that $191 per student per year?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you use that on, this kind of stuff, or do you have other things that you spend that on?
I don't have any control over that. I think that's money coming from that student fees that the student fees and student technology fees that support their printings, the copiers. The copiers we use is rented. The copiers. And one of the things that we also show the student how to do the copiers can scan PDF documents too. So it's really multifunctional once it can fax too. One of the things, for instance, we have a faculty who want to fax like 3,000 surveys to different people. That forced us to go online to find a fax blast services and do the fax, and then configure the way how to receive the fax into one of the copiers. So those are the things, those are just daily problems that when you don't have a lot of money, you really have to think about ways to how to serve your institutions. And I have to say it's fun. It's frustrating, but it's really fun because it looks you to go out and find stuff and learn stuff. So maybe it's not for all of you, but it's a...
Yeah.
Having money is easy.
Huh?
Makes everything too easy.
Yeah.
You just say, I want to go buy that instead of...
Yeah, right. What's the fun of that, right?
That was the fun.
Yeah, you missed out all the funds.
Well, for me, I can tell you, I was where you are, or where you say you are, and it wasn't fun for me at all. I was nervous. I was thinking anything breaks at any time, I'm gonna get the faculty of the dean is not gonna understand. They just want the service regardless, and I had to hammer down the funding because the funding is necessary, and I had to get to tech fee. Ours is 5% of the tuition, and so it's a lot more money. And with that money, we're able to fix technology, and now my life is much easier. I could be here,
Yeah.
on my phone, answering emails, and doing things like that.
Well, yeah,
So you should hammer that.
I should. Well, see, I have 2 people presenting my tech support presenting, but Boston is too expensive, so she couldn't come. And that shows you how it is. But I got an award for doing a great job this year, so that's why it's really fun. Frankly, yeah, I don't get nervous. I tell you, I don't get nervous. I mean, if I don't do it, I don't do it. I try my best. But I do, just make sure the critical things don't, if you have a critical event and the things break down, then you're in trouble, right? But just to make sure you test and do it. It's really fun. I mean,
one thing I can tell you, kind of what you were saying, like when I came in, it was the mentality, kind of like you're saying, do it for free, do everything as cheaply as possible, and use things until they're no good, then use them a little longer. That's kind of where we were at. But I really had to make people realize that, this is a law school. Students are paying a lot of money to be here. We need to make technology more of a priority and really kind of educate, the deans and the top level people as to why this is important. Now you say your servers and that is dealt with your central IT. We deal with all that ourselves. So when I came in a couple of years ago, we had spent a lot of money to fix a lot of things that we just left for many years to deteriorate, and then they're duct taped together and they're still working. And it was like, they're still working. That's great. But and I found over the last couple of years, be a little more generous with with things. They know I don't come for frivolous things. They know when I come and tell them I need money, it's for real. And so I don't know if that.
Yeah, well, if we could, I would. If I could, I would. But it's just it's a situation right now. It's just there's no money for you to buy anything, and if you want, so no major project. That's what it is, and you get along, you satisfy the needs of it, but right for the long-term planning, right, you gotta have the thing. So like the direction for the law school right now, I would encourage them to go down the online education part of it. Now I get them moving in a part of doing those recordings and exercise. Now the question is, do we have the people to support it? We can support it 1 or 2, but more. The other thing is we have a lot of classes that bring in external speakers. We're going to do like e-discovery courses. We're going to invite the people in. Yes, we have the classroom. Sometimes we have the classroom technologies, but how do you bring the other people from, so those are the things, yes. The situation, when you don't have money, you just don't do big projects. You do the ones that satisfy what they want. Right.
And your dean is educating the faculty to understand that this is a low-cost production, so to speak, but not to expect the world.
Well,
the expectation, I don't think it was my issue. I don't think they care.
What?
Money, they just want.
Right, they want the stuff done. But my experience with faculty is actually faculties are not I think faculties are easy to take care of because their needs are really, they need their email to work. They email, well, there are research needs of it, but the faculty needs, I think, is easy to take care of. Anybody want to say anything?
Well, what kind of faculty?
Well, the teaching faculties, for instance, the classroom.
What I mean is like older faculty that has been using the blackboard, paper, or new faculty that have just come out from being in a law firm that's used to using technology, laptops, projectors, all that stuff.
Even that, it's the classroom technology. For instance, if the young faculty is coming in and want to use the iPad, I mean, this is what I'm doing. I have a PowerPoint on. My point is on my iPad. This is what you're going to see in the courtroom right now. Is when they do the direct or cross, you see the faculty, the lawyers bring, instead of the big stuff. I've seen them quite often, was to just look at their iPad and just flip through and ask questions. But when they do that, yeah, they can bring in their display unit and display onto it. And that's one of the reasons I'm saying we're doing some airplay next year. It's not when I'm saying I don't have any budget, is I don't have any budget. But the big library, a big center might have something there for us. So look for it. Even the younger faculty members, I discovered their needs are also, it's not that, for instance, what they want is, for instance, VPN. right?
Yeah, I find them easier to work with because,
Right.
you know, you can speak to them tech, like the older faculty,
Right.
they have a problem and they're like real irate because
Right, right.
they don't understand like what it's gonna take to fix.
Right.
Like, the younger one who will be more tolerant will be like, you know, this is gonna be the process to fix it.
Right.
And
The old-
to manage expectations with the faculty. If you know that you have no budget,
Right.
sometimes it's better to get 3 or 4 of those faculty members to understand that you have no budget, and then when they're in their faculty meetings, they can pitch that, hey, IT needs more money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know, you say that you have a technology fee, back there. We have a technology fee too. It doesn't go into my budget.
Yeah.
I don't see a dime of the technology fee,
Right.
but yet it's up to me to make sure that the projectors work.
Right.
The students have access to the printers, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that stuff comes out of my IT budget. All that technology fee it's another fee that a student pays that they don't know where it goes either. So when they come and they bitch to me that, oh, hey, the printer doesn't work, and I pay, you know, $75 a year for a technology fee, it's like, you know, swing by and drop that $75 off at my office, and then we'll talk about it. But you know, that's the problem, is just managing and letting the faculty know. And yeah, even some of the old ones, because some of the older guys have that connection with whoever you know, for us, we're a standalone law school. So at times we just have to let things break.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like for instance, our website, our website was a primary. We had outsourced our website for a while. We didn't like paying the the web company $10,000 to do minor updates. We knew that it was going to come back in house. Well, in the meantime, we lost our web programmer, so it comes back in house, and I'm like, my WordPress skills are about much. Oh, you need that page added? I don't know how to do it. You know, oh, and then the owner's like, hey, it's got to get done. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know how to do it. I will do what I can when I can. And then the call's like, well, do you think we should hire a web person? Hello. Yes, I know that it had to be broken, but
yeah. I think there are some key functions that you just have to have, like the web programs. I mean, if you're in the midst of the recruiting registration or something break down, you just have to make sure you got that people to do. I mean, at my side, I could do all of those, so that's why. But there are key functions you just have to ensure. Classroom technology, for instance, the professor walk in and it just doesn't work. Then you want to make sure. The older faculty members, for instance, we have faculty who would not move on from front page. I mean, how? I mean, what are you going to do? Now we have faculty members, we use the clickers. Clickers now move on to the new version of 5.0, right? And the professor just refused to go to 5.0, wanted to use 4.0. What I'm saying is that, sure, that's your decision, but look, this thing is not going to work, that thing is not going to work. If you're okay with that, absolutely fine with me. So, right, you got to do the things to say, look, this is what I can do. If you want to do it, go ahead. I mean, break, yeah, you can complain, but front page, I mean, how many people are still using the front page to create web pages? So, and also the WordPerfect. Yeah.
It's all about WordPerfect.
Yeah. I mean, so that's the kind of thing. But for instance, we use a program. We use a DOS program to schedule exams. The schedule exams, we use the DOS programs, and so for that reason, you have to stay, not the Windows. Not
we just had that. Our CFO, and Felix works for me. Our CFO was using the DOS-based program for an accounting function. This program hasn't been updated, and we don't know. God knows how long, or if the guy who wrote it's still alive.
Right.
But he liked it,
right.
And we could make it. We could patch things together, make it work in XP, but then we'd kill XP. XP's dead. You've got to move to 7. Well, it doesn't work in 7.
Right.
All the time, the calculations, and it's like.
Yeah.
Dude, you've got to move to something else at some point. Like
right.
This has been dead for years.
So what we did,
bring me a floppy disk.
What we did is we keep 2 old machines there. One broke, one can use. I mean, just.
He didn't want to move off the XP
to
Windows 7 because of that one program.
Right.
Word, Gmail, whatever it is,
right.
worked lovely and everything. Just that one program
right.
is attached.
Right.
I found a DOS emulator.
Yeah. Oh, you.
It to work, yeah, but
All right. Well, that's good for you, but we didn't. I mean, that's the kind of thing you have to do sometimes. I mean, you're in the IT department, you can't move everybody. I tell you, sometimes it's the opposite. For instance, anybody use the ExamSoft? Yeah, we made it very clear. You know, this will work, this will work, this will work. And then by the exam time, a student come to my office to say, I am able to install the ExamSoft, but I cannot make it work. And so what's the devices you have? He said, I'm using the Surface Pro and Surface Pro 2. Yeah, you can install it. Of course you can use it. I mean, it doesn't support it. So that's the fun part about working in the IT department. You see all kinds of stuff there. So I personally find it very interesting. You know, it's an opportunity for me to learn many new things. And yeah, I mean, you're getting.
You should have the right attitude for that, because I didn't have it. I did. I was like, why can't we do it the right way? Take his approach.
can I ask you a question? Did you originally work in legal education before you went into the job? Work more in like for-profit or other? Yeah.
So I just thought, you know, professional responsibility. You have responsibility to the students to make sure you have adequate technology that's current, versus, you know, having to, you know, even something like as small as a podium. The dean wanted to do presentations. And we had to rely on main campus and rent and borrow for your rent. They had a fee. I think it was $75 or whatever. So after a while, checking it out and dealing with beat up, you know, to make people use it.
Right.
So I was like, well, if you talk to the budget person, and we calculate all the money you have to spend in rental. And that's how I was able to prove to him that this was $500.
Right.
And we did it right away. So it takes those little things.
Yeah, but sometimes sometimes, for instance, encourage them to use the audio on their Mac or something. It help them, because the lawyers now, they go out solos. They use Skype to interview people, you know, distantly. So I mean, they use it. They use a lot of those. So it's you know, it teach them to be creative. That's okay. Any more questions or discussions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
You work for Essential IT, right? You have to follow that policy dealing with.
No, I'm working for the law school.
No, I'm meant to say that you have to work alongside Essential IT.
Yes.
You have to follow that policy.
You have to, but yeah, you're supposed to. You're supposed to. I'll tell you one example. Our digital comments coming up for law journals, right? And I design a logo. I'm thinking the law journal, they have a logo all along for 11 years. So why can't you use that logo to put it on the website? I'm going to show you this. Or maybe it's. And immediately after I designed it, and the Central says, you have to take it down. Sorry, we have a policy on how to use logos. And I'm saying, no way. I mean, I spent a lot of time doing that. So yeah, Center has a lot of policies. It's just well, maybe. Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Some of those policies may apply centrally, or just a law school, they may not.
Right. And also, I discovered, maybe Tom might have this idea, is if you can show them that you can do more, they will allow you to do more. So, I mean, I think everybody is under the constraints of money. So if you can show them that you can do more, that you can get.
What I'm saying is, like, you don't have a budget, but then you have to.
Right.
You deal with them.
Right. So look at this website. So look at the logo right there. I mean, that's from the Law Journal logo. I mean, so you can't use it. That's we have a special, but I let it stay. So yeah, I'm in charge of the whole site. That's another thing too. Huh? Well, the university has a policy of what you can use, what you cannot use. Right.
No logos except for theirs.
Right.
At our university, you're not supposed to use any logo but the university logo.
Right. They have a policy. You have to use it. Right.
Yeah, it's
So this is the site. So yeah, you do have to.
So
do
then
that.
we create one.
Okay. Well, thanks very much for your time.
So you're at Echo 360 school?
Yeah.
Do you have appliances or use appliances or
Yeah,
from the actual capture station?
either road, but
Are you doing 2 servers, one for processing, one for serving?
at this point, get it encoded.
At this point, how many classrooms are you capturing?
There will be no way like that, non-distracted way that I can do my
We're doing everything on one server. Don't need to.
You know, we only need one. We only have 2 rooms.
Trying to do that, originally had it configured for 2. And we had the technician come in to do an upgrade. And we did the upgrade, we was having a hard time getting the server to talk to the processing server. So he said, for the temporary, we're gonna have this one server do both.
Oh.
And he forgot to turn it on.
Oh,
So we've been working, we worked for months off of one server. There's no lag, there's no nothing else. The one server. And if you're doing 2 rentals, you do not need 2 servers, that saves some money. You're not? Are you doing site license campus?
You haven't met me then.
Oh, okay. You're not doing
So at this time it's not even cost us money, but I didn't know that you could do that many.
I'm a waiter.
Of course, it is. It might also depend on what your servers are.
Back to the East Coast.
We went 2 servers because that's what they told us to do. After that consultant came in, we operated literally for months, not even realizing that the server wasn't doing anything. Oh, then all of a sudden it was like, oh, we have 2 servers? And see, we're doing the appliances. There's where the cost comes in.
Yeah, I
So
know.
sticking appliances, and I'll tell you right now, if and when you do, if you ever do go back to paying for Echo,
Yeah.
Not this time.
don't let them talk you into the appliances.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna go PCs for our capturing. Yeah. We were with Echo before they started, we were with Preezy, that was the first one.
It's very, very nice.
And it was PCs, and you had to buy these capture cards out of Great Britain to make it work. And when we moved up to Echo, of course, there's
I
like,
was invited to
capture appliances to do
yeah.
that. We didn't have PCs anymore, we did capture appliances.
Greg was there as
And
well.
little small ones, you know, if you've ever looked at those things, small
I
ones.
haven't looked at the server because we set it up. We just set it up. I can program
It's a
it.
plastic case, it has
But
no
I was
ventilator.
so
So if it's inside a podium, if it's inside a rack, it's hot, and it fails. And the new appliances are starting to create a huge.
You got the newer version, right?
We have a mix of both now. We have some of the older in some rooms and some of the new ones. And the new ones do have fans. Tell them why to use it. And how often you start to see them? How often we record?
Right now.
We record. At this point, we're recording probably 75–80% of all classes. Now we have some professors. There are some professors that are very good. I've never been recorded. I've even had one professor that would come in the room and he would take the microphone, pop it out of its base and set it down because he just wanted to make absolutely sure that the recording was paranoid. For the most part, we have a policy that says, if you're that joke, you're getting recorded. Now, the flip to that is, some professors record, but they don't automatically show it to the students.
Oh, we have it tied to
great.
Well, we have it typed too, but we give them the option, do you want it automatically published or not? And some professors, they will capture the But they only give it to a student if the student
Wants it, send
wants it, well, for some legitimate reason. I was sick with the flu that day. Our great Aunt Bessie was dead, and I had to attend a funeral, those kinds of things. Then those
Right.
situations, therefore,
We have it, we go to the
Yeah,
networks.
he says, you know,
It's interesting, we can do it, just.
the program is that's cool. It's very expendable, like they're able to take.
We're on a site license now, and our site license is
Somebody
$28,000
said
a
that's
year.
probably, well, how many hours that's been?
20,000 a year just for the site license. And then the appliance goes out, the appliance dies, it's $3,000. Not quite that, it's 26 or something like
Right,
that, but
but
still, it's
just amazing.
it's real expensive.
Yeah.
And,
Are you the one who's doing all the scheduling courses or at the beginning? Because if you're scheduling,
well, I've got a guy doing it now, I did it for the longest, but I've got a guy, I've assigned it to one of my guys now, but yeah, for the longest time, basically the way we worked was, in the semester, we knew which rooms had captured.
Right.
So we'll send out a message that says, hey, if you're teaching in rooms, blah,
Right,
blah,
right,
blah,
right.
blah, blah.
Right.
One, let us know if you want to be captured.
Right.
2, if you are captured, if you want it automatically published.
Right.
3,
Yeah.
if you want podcasting turned on.
Yeah.
And for the most part, most of our professors,
That's
yes,
cool. I like
maybe
to do
yes, maybe no. And only 1 or 2 professors do podcasting.
I like to do that, but I don't have the money. Yeah. I wanted to start with, now it's running out, so I can't even replace it.
Do you have a print quota on your
Yeah,
student
students
printing?
have-
How many pages do you give them a semester?
400?
400?
Yeah.
We're doing 5.
Oh.
400 is a good.
You're from Alabama, right? Sanford?
No, Arkansas.
Oh, you're
Arkansas.
from Arkansas. Are you not from the same law school, the Sanford? Oh, I thought you were from the same school. No, Arkansas Law University of Arkansas.
No, I'm University of Arkansas, Little Rock.
A Little Rock.
We're in the middle of the state. They're way up there on the northwest corner.
You're the true ones.
That's right. Yeah. No, technically, they're the true university, and we're a
Yeah.
smaller version.
Yeah, good. Well, nice talking to you.
It's nice talking to you. Good luck.
Thank you. Well, thanks for
Yeah, very interesting to hear.
Yeah.
Wish you luck. I mean, it sounds like you have some challenges.
Well,
Yeah, it sounds like you do okay.
I'm having a good time.
It sounds like you do okay.
Yeah.
That's good.